Well, YouTube, Megan here. So today is day 3, entry number 4. I'm not going to really try and count these things just because I'd rather just talk. So I had an appointment with my doctor yesterday. Like I got to meet a psychiatrist that I'm going to be starting to work with. Um, I never realized how much I may have actually lost grip of reality until I sat down and I started talking to somebody about everything. There was just so much going on in my head, but it seemed like nothing was going on the outside. So upstairs, I could hear voices, I could see things happening. I felt like events were coming to pass, but in reality, nothing was happening. My life was uber boring, and I was just making up scenarios so that way I didn't feel so bored at the end of the day, which makes me a little worried because, there are certain things that I knew were real and other things that I know were not. So it kind of makes me worried to figure out which is which. And just the fact that I'm thinking that way, it just raises a lot of questions in my own head about who I am and what kind of potential medical diagnosis I could have because I'm questioning, essentially I'm questioning what other things are doing, but the other things are me. So why am I questioning what I'm doing? There shouldn't be any need for that questioning, but there is. That questioning is there. And I think because that questioning is there, that's what's making everybody think that I had some kind of psychotic break. And I have to be honest, I think maybe that they could be potentially right. Maybe I did have a little bit of a psychotic break, and a lot of it has to do with the pandemic because I'm isolated and I'm home, excuse me, and I'm alone. And because I'm alone, everything that happens around me, it makes me question why. Why right now is that red light blinking a bunch of times? Is it telling me I'm right because I am alone and I'm lonely? See, that's the kind of stuff that goes on in my head. Why did my phone just blink just now? Is it because maybe it's like, ding, you are losing it a little bit? And why am I getting answers like that? Why can't I just get answers the normal way like everybody else? I mean, it's pretty clear that something inside me is going on because I hear voices, I see things happening, you know, and I don't understand a lot of it. And because I don't understand it, that's what makes me think I need real help. Maybe I should even be studied because I don't have like suicidal thoughts. I definitely don't have homicidal thoughts. I'm just a regular person. I'm a mom that just living every day, but I've never had this amount of stress on me ever in my life. So because I have so much stress from my son's diagnosis, it's almost like I'm inventing my own, which doesn't make any sense. Why would I want to be sick? I don't want to be sick. I want to be a healthy, normal, everyday person. I just want to feel right. And I thought this whole year that I was doing great, but it makes me question whether or not I wasn't doing so great. Was I actually, I mean, because when I was at the hospital, they told me that they found substances in my urine, and the only substances that I know I take every day are such and such. But why did they find such and such and such and such? They shouldn't have found all of that. So if that stuff is getting into my system, then it's getting into my system without my knowledge. How is that possible? That's not possible unless I have an altar. I've had ever since I was a kid, jokingly, I used to call like my party altar Rachel. I used to call her Rachel. Rachel is crazy. She's outgoing. She's the kind of person that will, flash titties at the bar. The biggest thing is that she's an addict. Rachel is a hardcore addict. She has problems with all kinds of drugs. And I've chosen to stuff Rachel away for a long time, pretty much forever. Because to me, it was only a joke. I'm only joking. I'm calling the person that makes stupid decisions, which is ultimately me. I'm calling her Rachel because I don't want to take the blame for all the stupid shit I did. But who am I taking the blame from? I'm taking it from myself. So I always jokingly referred to her as Rachel. But I'm worried now that because some of the medications that I was taking, that maybe at night I was going off and doing things, but I don't remember. And who was I doing these things with? If I was doing anything, it would have been literally at like 2 o'clock in the morning because, for a while there, I couldn't sleep. So I was waking up at 2 a.m. and between 2 and 4, I was just up. And I was conscious, though. I would watch my Nightmare Before Christmas light. I'd listen to music. I'd watch television. And, the TV would... I wouldn't say the TV would talk to me, but sometimes, yeah, certain things in certain parts of the movies would stand out. And it would make sense to me with whatever was going on in my head at the time. Like, wow, so there's my answer. Somehow the TV just answered my question. How can the TV answer your questions? It really can't. It's just the television. What's on there is that already recorded. So something is different. Something is not different with everything else. Something is different with me because I'm seeing things differently. And that persona that took over, she was super lost. I don't even know what to call her. She was just driving around town, inventing fights and people begging for things, and I was driving around reading clouds, like random clouds, just spitting out names and shapes that they may have looked like at the time. It's what made me miss Halloween. Just this idea that I'm an oracle, right? So that persona took over and she was super lost. She did things that I would never do. And the craziest thing is that I don't even have a name for her. She's a brand new. I know Rachel. Rachel is party girl. I know Meghan. Meghan is me. I'm mom. I'm the one who's always in the light. But I don't know this lost girl. I don't know her name. I don't know what to call her. And I'm not even so sure she's real. When I try to explain everything that she saw and that she did, there's always logical explanations for it. That maybe made sense. It would make sense even if I told it as a story, but it didn't make sense. It's lost and scary. Because sometimes you do things when you're lost that you wouldn't normally do when you're found. Like walking into people's houses even though you don't know who they are. I just made the excuse that I was on the phone with a friend and he told me I was at his house. So clearly I felt I was at the wrong place, and in reality I was listening to books on tape and they were telling me that this is the right place and that there's a guy inside the window that looked away. And at the time there was a guy inside the window that looked away. So there's just so much that is just unexplainable. And this lost girl, she put me, Meghan, in a very precarious and dangerous situation. I almost lost my son. I don't know how it happened. I don't know what brought on this state, other than probably loneliness, because I'm alone and I'm hoping for somebody specific to come back, but he's not coming back. So it's almost breaking me, because everything inside of my head gave logic and reason as to every reason why he would come back, not every reason why he wouldn't. And now I'm seeing that maybe he wouldn't because he saw something was off. It's like ever since I was a kid, I have to have an obsession with somebody. I have to be in love with somebody. And I never understood that. I always had to have like an idea in the back of my head of somebody that was like, oh my God, I miss him. And when I didn't have that, I felt lost. Very lost. The person always changes. But for some weird reason, it's never the person I want. I'm scared. I'm scared of what this means for myself and for my son. So if I do have alternate personalities, excuse me, it's certainly not like in the movies. It's a very scary thing, because you wake up and you don't even realize, like, why did I do that? Who am I making coffee for? Why am I reading clouds? Why am I doing all these extra things? Why is this lost girl so rigid on routines? And everything in its place. And when anything is out of place, it's odd. And it throws her off. She's harmless, though. I'm harmless. I'm just a little lost and lonely. And that's why I started this YouTube channel, because there's got to be somebody else out there that's just like me. I think that's it for today. This is my therapy session, my self-indulgent therapy session. So now I'm a different persona. I'm the psychiatrist. And I'm always looking back at myself, trying to figure it out one step at a time. That's all we really can't do in life, is take it one step at a time. That concludes entry number, who cares? Day number 3. Bye for now.